want everyone to feel a sense of justice. I want people to feel heard. Um, there's a lot of silencing that goes on, especially in churches. You know, I think that that should be unmasked.
So, do you think that you're a flirt or that you flirted?
I think I asked you that um, in one of our conversations. I was
Yeah,
flirtatious
I
with people that was age appropriate. I was flirtatious with, my friends. I had a best friend who was a boy. You know, we flirted, but not like to the point where anything happened.
I
You know
want to
what I
get in your
mean?
pants. I want to get in your pants
Correct.
flirting. Yeah.
Correct. It was never
And
like
and
that.
and when I say do you think that you're a flirt? I think that we all are in some way, shape, or form. But when it comes to people
I
that are
didn't flirt with
substantially
anybody's
older,
daddy. I didn't flirt with
yeah,
nobody daddy.
when it comes to people that were substantially older than you or older than us, it's just like a couple of years, you could be my daddy. Like, wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you and a lot of these people were supposed to be technically our protectors.
Yeah. I remember one guy told me, another, not father figure, he was older, but not, we weren't friendly like that. And he said hi to me. And maybe I was busy, preoccupied, and maybe I didn't hear him. I don't think I heard him. But what made me know he said hi to me was when I didn't respond, he said to me, "You're not as cute as you think you are."
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And I was like, what? At that point, I didn't even think I was cute. Now you couldn't tell me anything. But back then,
What?
and
He was like, and
yeah,
he said that matter of factly.
matter of factly, you're not as cute as you think you are.
I am
Hmm.
done.
I think all things considered, I'm surprised I even go to church. You know what I mean? Like my mentality has changed vastly. Um, I definitely don't think about the people anymore. Before, the people meant a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now it's more about my relationship with my faith
Mm-hmm.
versus my relationship with people. So,
I think it's hard when you actually grow up in a ministry as opposed to like going to a ministry as an adult. And you know what I'm saying? Because when you grow up, you have certain ties to people and certain views of people because these are the people that you knew when you were younger. They knew you when you were a little lad. And the fact that dude asked for fellatio and because you 18 now, then that means when I was 17, when I was 16, when I was 15, you were looking at me
yeah,
inappropriately and you were waiting like it's about that time. It's January 12th.
14th, she
It's
just turned.
January 12th at 11:59.
Correct.
Boom.
It's horrible. I think I laugh so I don't cry. I give all men the side eye now. There's no man that does not get the side eye from me.
So I was just about to ask, how did that affect your relationships moving forward after that?
I think there was a point in my life where I became withdrawn and I didn't want to have men around me. Then there was a point in my life where I became promiscuous because I thought that's all I had to offer.
Mm.
And, you know, then there was a point of my life where I felt like neutral, I could take it or leave it because that's all they wanted anyway. I think every I'm gonna say something and I don't want it to sound crazy, but I think every example of strength and beauty that I've ever seen growing up, like Tupac said, came from a woman, got a game from a woman. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like these guys, the guys that were around me growing up, men, I don't even want to call them men because I know men now that are upstanding. You know what I mean? I would never look twice at a little girl. And I was a little girl.
You were a little
Um,
girl. Let's make that
I
clear.
was a little girl. Yeah. Um, they were predators. So I was a little taken back when you said it in the beginning. But now that we're here and you say all these things out loud, yeah.
I know the words in which I speak, sis. Listen, these people, they prey on your vulnerabilities,
Yeah.
on your
Insecurities.
weaknesses, insecurities, and a lot of them kind of look for women with kids that without a husband or a father. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because they know that they think that there's no covering there. And when people think that your covering has lifted or is not in existence, oh, they will try and bring the rain.
Yeah. I just don't look at men the same. Even though I have a son, I always, and he's a relationship type of guy, right? So I don't know. I
He
don't
booed
know.
up. Because I mean,
He is
I can
he
find
is
somebody
booed
for
up.
my boo. I can
He's
find somebody for
always
my
booed
boo.
up. He's always booed up. He has a different sense of values, you know, like he doesn't treat women like property or like they owe him something.
Mm-hmm. Which
Um,
is good.
he dates women that are age appropriate. Um, Not to say that
Which is
there's
very
anything
good.
wrong with dating up or down, you know, I don't want to put a stigma on that, but I do
But
think it's
there
something.
is something wrong when they're children.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
So he's 25 and his significant other is like 23. You know what I mean? She
Mm-hmm.
ain't 18.
Yeah.
She's not 17 turning 18. So I think I raised a pretty good boy, man. Um, I would never want him to treat a woman the way I was treated. I would
Mm-hmm.
never want him to, um, I would never want him to be treated the way I was treated by a
Yeah.
woman, you know,
Yeah.
or a man for that matter. So, gonna
So is
count
there
my
anything
blessings
else
there.
about your experience that you didn't get a chance to say or that you would want to say?
I would say that I wish I was more protected. I wish I would, I wish that the way I felt was equal to the way that I was seen and treated. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's this expectation to be perfect at church. I now know there's no such thing as perfect. I mean, we can all strive for perfection. No one is going to achieve it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing wrong
Mm-hmm.
with striving for it. Um, I would have liked our pastor, our shepherd, our father figure, for lack of a better term, to be more active in the raising of his flock, i.e., the men, especially the men. Um, because the one thing I can say is that I never saw that behavior with him, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
I feel good in saying that at least. But at the same time, you can't tell me he didn't see it. Can you tell me he didn't see it?
I mean, I didn't see it. I just got banged in the head because I'm just like, what?
So you mean to tell me growing up at church, no one came at you inappropriately?
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure.
Who did you tell?
Um, you know what? I didn't tell anybody until I left. And if there was any situations that went on while I was in church, I told my boyfriend because
You
when
mean
I was there,
PK?
yes, I told my boyfriend when I was there, anything that happened, look what had to
Did he
go to him in a
protect
second.
you?
He protected me. He protected me.
I wish we could all say the same.
And it wasn't until we were not together and people knew that we weren't together that
The
it
protection
was
stopped.
the covering they saw the covering come off, so that's when the vultures started swarming, and I was like, what in the. Now granted, when I was younger, he I was told that dudes just was making bets about me, but you know what,
Making bets about you in what way? Who's going to get you first?
I don't know if it was, yeah, yeah.
It's sad looking back now, knowing that that was the mentality of the people that were supposed to protect you. I have a question. So I mentioned that I never, that behavior never came from the pastor, but
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I don't know if he saw it, if it went over his head. But all of these men I spoke of had wives. Did the wives see it? Did they know what was going on? Did they choose to overlook it?
That is a
In the
very good question.
in the case of the threesome proposition, um, I would say yes, the wives knew. Some of the wives participated, or in that one case, they did, at least. And, it's disgusting and appalling. How do we move forward from there? It took me a long time to trust people after that,
But you
especially
did.
after not being believed that it was even said. Good thing there was no iPhone back in the day or Samsung or whatever where you could record people in their conversations.
Or
You had a
social
boombox
media,
back or social. Oh my! Could you even
girl,
imagine if there was social media back
it would
then,
be on and
the
popping.
way it
It
is
would be
now?
on and popping.
Do you think that these men would have been able to get away, and women would have been able to get away with that behavior?
No, no. It's a new breed. It's a new breed. And I'm not talking about Israel. It's a new breed out here that
Yeah,
is, it's much different from the way it was back then. But the
I
fact
thought
that
it
they
would
had
be different.
wives.
I thought that it would be different if I, didn't go to that church anymore. It would be different at another church. And
And it's
I
not.
had a friend who lived in Delaware. We hung out a lot. Went to Delaware a lot. We partied in Philly a lot. Partied like, just hang out, have drinks, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And this guy came up to me, offered to buy a drink, said okay or whatever. He was a handsome guy. Um, we chatted for a little bit, and he. I want to say I always wore these like really tall shoes. Remember how tall my shoes used to be?
Yes.
And
So you were like
so with
7'8".
so with my shoes on, he was just a tad bit shorter than me. He said, I want to climb that tree. I'm like, okay, now I'm not even talking to you. So I'll take my drink and I'll keep it moving. And maybe like another time I came, he was like, "Oh, you remember me? I'm sorry I came at you that way, blah, 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 blah. Truth be told, I just think you're beautiful," so on and so forth. Oh, thank you. It was refreshing to hear someone, give a compliment, be honest, take ownership of their actions.
Mhm.
So, we spoke for a little bit. I want to say we went out on 4 or 5 dates. And then a friend of mine, you know, told me who he was. I didn't know who he was. Let's call him Troy.
Okay.
Um, that was the name he told me, by the way.
His name was
And
Troy.
Troy. hmm Come to find out, he was a prominent pastor, and I was so shocked. I was in disbelief. My friends and I, we went to that church because I did not believe it. And let's just say, for lack of a better term, good thing he never got it, because that man was not only a pastor, he was married, and he had a baby on the way with somebody that wasn't his wife. So that destroyed all my hope in church, faith, the men in church. I was, yeah, it took me when I say a long time, but I think I started going back because of you, your sister, your mom. Yeah, later on, I definitely did not go back before, like, we linked up as friends again later on in life. Not to say that we ever broke up as friends, but like, just, spending more time together.
Well,
Let me just say one thing really quick. This guy turned out to be a prominent pastor of a well known church who had a wife and a baby on the way with someone that wasn't his wife. And I'm going to leave it at that.
so how did you find out that he had a baby from someone that wasn't his wife?
That I found out through church gossip, which turned out to be true after the fact.
Hmm. Okay. So
Because my friend that church,
you say your friend went to that church?
she went to that church. It was a popular church. But see, the thing about it is, the night we met, like, I was with my friends, but we weren't all like together. Like, people were dancing, people were hanging out
Mhm.
with, who they were hanging out with. It wasn't until maybe our fourth date, um, we were going our separate ways. That person had to go back to their city and I had to go back to my city. And my friend was going back to the city with me, like, because she worked in New York City,
Mhm.
and, the weekend was over or whatever. And he dropped me off to my friend. And my
Mm.
friend told me who he was because she was a member of his congregation.
Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got nothing. I got nothing. I got nothing. I got nothing on that one.
That's how I felt. I had nothing. Yep.
Yeah. Um, but now you're in your happy place.
I am. I am in my happy place.
You're glowing.
Well, thank you. I
Or
think
is
it's the lighting.
or is that bronzer? Or is that some good bronzer?
It might be bronzer and lighting, but no, I'm happy, I think. Well, not I think, I know I'm happy. I think that, um, it took a long time to get to this point, but now that I'm here, there is no turning back. I know what I
Mhm.
would tolerate. I know what I will um I don't know, I have boundaries, right?
Mhm.
And I tell people what my boundaries are, what my expectations of them are, and I ask people to give me boundaries. And I want to know what their expectation of me is. Like, I want to know, like, we're friends. I want to know from you, what is your expectation of me in friendship? You know, I want to know, I want people to know what my expectation of them in friendship is, in
Mm-hmm.
life, mentorship and whatever area that we're in. There are boundaries, you know, expectations are set and met. And I don't leave a lot of room for error anymore. I try not to. Obviously,
Meaning,
it's not unrealistic expectations, but this ain't baseball. I'm not giving you three strikes. You know what I mean? You only get one chance to hurt me, and that's it. If you're a really, really, really good friend that I've known since I was like 9, maybe I'll give you a second chance. But thus far, we haven't had that problem. So, you know what I mean?
yes, but even in everything that we just discussed, because there was a
Mm-hmm.
lot, do you think that you are able to have um dialogue with people that hurt you and forgive them?
Yes, I can forgive you, but I don't have to be in your immediate circle.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm
I
no
have,
no
I
circle.
have for, I have forgiven. I want to say the people that, especially in church, that have hurt me, because we were able to have a discussion about it. Um, we were able to. I'm just saying, for the people who were there and want to read between the lines. Um,
Oh, Father.
I can only be me. You asked me to be me.
I'm just saying, I didn't think I didn't. Okay, proceed.
So no, I feel like I've had a lot of conversations with people, to let them know how I felt. Even the people that um were mentors, I feel
Mm.
like I've had conversations with them to let them know how much they meant to me and how instrumental they were in me just being a good human, you know. Um, do I wish I had certain conversations earlier? I didn't have the tools. Now I do. Eventually, I'll get to some people. Eventually, I hope some people get to me. Maybe I've hurt someone and, they weren't able to tell me, or they haven't thus far. Let
Mm.
me know. I would like to fix it. I would like to be forgiven. Um, we may not necessarily be friends, but
But
I want to forgive you and I want to be forgiven.
mhm.
I want everyone to feel a sense of peace. I want everyone to feel a sense of justice. I want people to feel heard. Um, there's a lot of silencing that goes on, especially in churches. You know, I think that should be unmasked.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I want people to feel comfortable and confident in telling their own truths. Your truth may not be mine and mine may not be yours, but there's something cathartic about being able to be honest, if not with the person, with yourself.
yeah, I agree. And
Just
I honestly, I would want to say that even though these people are not necessarily the greatest at whether or not being faithful to their wives or preying upon little children or doing things that were not the best when it comes to you being in the church or being a minister. That does not mean that these people are not and were not used by God or anointed. It just means they have fell short in some areas like we all do.
right.
So, but they still predators. I'm sorry. I have to keep that terminology there because
Someone asked me once, a predator asked me once, um, because I said to them, I'm like I'm a kid compared to you, and they were like, if you were a kid, would you have a baby? What? Unpack that for me.
Um,
It took a lot of therapy to get me to this point.
um,
You ain't no kid. You had a
the the
baby.
the Merriam-Webster definition of predator is one who injures or exploits others for personal gain or profit. There it is. What? There it is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, these are people in the church. And it's still going on.
It is definitely still going on. One
What you
would
gonna
hope
do?
that it wouldn't. But I do want to I want there to be a safe place where someone can come forward and say, you know, something like this happened to them, especially someone young.
Mm-hmm.
Even older people, I believe it happened to, and they were silenced. They never felt like they could say something.
Did
Um,
anyone, did anyone ever come to you, like one of the younger ones, younger than us, come to you and say something has ever happened, or they came to you for guidance
yes,
regarding,
yes, and I rose up.
and you heard them?
I heard them. Yeah, that
Sometimes
same
our
I'm
parents didn't
18.
have the tools.
That same 18 now. You're 18 now. Comment went to someone was said to someone I considered to be a little sister
Mm.
by the son of the person that was inappropriate with me.
Hmm. So it was generational.
They were taught to be that way. They and if they weren't taught to be that way, they must have seen the behavior,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They emulated that behavior and there were no consequences for that behavior. Once I heard about it, there was a consequence. But back then, I didn't have the tools. As an adult, I had the tools,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
We got to do better. We got to do better because not just you, not just me. There is a freaking smorgasbord of women and men that have been devastated by things that have happened to them from people that they trusted and
Yeah.
people that they thought were covering them.
Yeah.
And that is whack.
Yeah. So now we just have to have a forum and, where people can come forward and in a forum, I don't know, just lending tools on how to fix it.
Well, that's what this is for. It's the Maven movement.
I mean, it would be nice if this was a panel.
Well, yeah, if you'd have did it when we were supposed to do it.
It would
But
have been a
like,
panel.
because now I'm gonna just be messy because I had heard that apparently I was talking to the dude that was my partner on the show that I had back then in the chat, and I was just like, "What?
There's always a rumor about something.
Who?"
And that was a rumor. That was a
I'm
rumor.
just like that. And see, this I think this was one of the things that was my downfall because when I was younger, I used to like having guy friends was nothing to me.
You trusted.
Yeah, because remember the guys that were lived on the same block that I did, and we always hung out
Mm-hmm.
together.
Yeah.
Like
We
I
trusted.
always thought, that that's my dude, that's my brother. Like I could be around them, hang around
Mm.
them, and they be nothing until I realized that people were actually talking about me, saying that I was with people that I wasn't.
Or waiting for you to turn 18 and be grown.
Girl, bye. Girl, bye.
Yeah. And that same block with those same boys heard the same stories. I mean,
I'm done.
it didn't just happen in church. It's just more polarizing to know that it happened in this place that's supposed to be safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you expect it
Yeah.
everywhere else, you don't expect it at
You
church.
expect it in a club, you expect it on the
Mm-hmm.
street, you expect it
Yep.
in school, but you don't expect it in the house of God.
Correct. The problem is, I think it was a house of GAWD, like gaudiness.
God. Yes.
GAWDT and not
God.
GOD.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
That's the
if you could tell your 15, your 13, 15, and 17-year-old self something, what would it be?
you don't want to know what I would say.
I want to know.
Um my 13-year-old self, I would say get a hobby. I'm sorry. You know I gotta be me.
Start knitting, or something.
Correct. My 15-year-old self, I would say follow my passions, explore them, um, take advantage of opportunities, and not get caught up with someone playing to my insecurities, you know. Um, and my 17-year-old self, I would say, my 17-year-old self, I would say, you know better, so do better. Not to me, to the people that were inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Because my 17-year-old self was a little more confident, but I was taken back. I didn't expect it, you know?
Yeah.
So I would speak up. I would tell my 17-year-old self to speak up and not be silenced or silent. Um, yeah, that's what I would tell them. That you are a voice in this world and you deserve to be heard. What show was that from?
I don't remember.
What was the closing prayer your mom used to say at 390?
The
Was it a
closing
prayer or
prayer.
was not a prayer, but like an affirmation?
What, the I
If
am somebody?
I think so. Um, she used to say this to, like, you know, the after school program before everybody was dismissed. I can't think of it. It popped into my head the other day and I was like, oh my goodness.
Let me ask her. Ma!
What's up, girl?
Hi, mommy.
Hey, baby.
You used to do, like, I don't know, it was like an affirmation, or like right before dismissal, you used to say something and the kids would repeat it. It popped into my head the other day and now I can't remember.
What was it? I am somebody. I can't. That one.
That's what I said. I don't. She said
Wait,
she doesn't think that
say
is
it. Say it. Let me see. Maybe I just remembered the end then.
Oh, okay.
How does it go? Whatever it is, it popped into my head and I just remembered thinking, wow.
The main thing was I am somebody. I can, I will, and I must achieve my fullest potential. When I look in the mirror, I see a great somebody
looking back at
me.
Yes.
I
remember that a little bit.
Yeah.
It was something to that effect, but whatever it is, it just stuck, right? So now every time I do something, I always think I am somebody.
Because you are.
We all are.
Tracy, everybody. I mean, she came and shut it down.
No,
I
thanks for having me.
I think
I really like this platform that you have. I like tuning in. Sometimes I'm shocked, sometimes I giggle, you know, but no, I enjoy it.
Well, it's all about what we go through. I just think, like you said, I think that we have to, and it took me years and years and falling and getting up and falling and getting up to just say, yo, tell your truth and stop trying to be something that you're not.
Yeah.
You know? And I refuse to be anything but me.
Agreed.
Take it or leave it.
Love me, hate the fact that you love me, but I'm gonna do me.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom. And we can end just like that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I want to thank my guest, Tracy, my sis, for actually finally coming and doing the show after 29 years.
Say that.
Good night, everyone.
It is so important for us to tell our own stories, and that's why the Maven Movement is here. If you have a story that you want to tell, email me or DM me on Instagram at the Melanin Maven.